their way to heaven. We're coming to you bringing insights into the ever-changing high-frequency currents now bathing the planet and their effect on us all. The source of vital information for the evolving human being. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. Balancing your shields. Self-serving versus service to others. Common to many tribes in one form or another is an ancient Native American teaching about balancing your shields. My original Lakota teacher shared the concept with me over 50 years ago. I later ran across a form of it in a book whose title I've forgotten. Elders of several tribes got together to author this wonderful illustrated children's book. It contained the concept of balancing one's shields, along with many other profound teachings. It was hoped that bringing back ancient teachings and concepts to their children would mitigate the drug and alcohol addiction plaguing their people. I purchased this little treasure at a powwow in Denver, Colorado in the late 80s and have since lost it in one of my many moves over the years. I'm sure it's in the bottom of a box containing treasured books somewhere in the back of a storage shed, aka lost. Being part Native American myself, I shared it with my children from an early age and can still see the teachings benefiting them as adults today. Like many Native teachings, the concept of balancing your shields looks simplistic at first glance, but deepens in meaning and application as one embraces the practice. Indigenous people, original being small tribes of hunter-gatherers, had to embrace service to tribe in order to survive. This tendency is still very strong among Native Americans today. As an example, years back I sat with one of my Navajo friends in the hospital. He was a relatively young man, but was riddled with cancer. His prognosis was not good. He was in a great deal of pain. Just before he crossed, he said something I will never forget. "I take this sickness and suffering on for my people so that it leaves with me and frees them of this disease." I didn't understand the concept at the time. I'm still not sure I understand it. But his love for and dedication to his people shook me to the core. This is not the only time I experienced this level of selflessness. I knew another young Lakota man who received grants, went to college, and became a lawyer. But instead of using his degree as his ticket off the reservation and out of poverty, he went back to live with his people and legally represent them without charge. This apparent total selflessness may appear diametrically opposed to balancing service to self with service to other, and it can be. My teacher taught me that our service to tribe can only be sustained if we balance it with self-love and nurturing. It's also the principle of giving and taking in equal measure. Without the balance of give and take, we could not live, as the principle functions clear down to the cellular level and beyond. Balancing your shields is a function of the heart. It can also be represented by balancing unconditional love of self with that of other. Energetically speaking, the left side of the heart receives and the right side gives. It's simple electromagnetics. As energy healers know, the same holds true of human hands. The left hand carries a negative charge and the right a positive. Energy healing simplified is a matter of setting up a balanced flow between one's two hands, then offering that flow to the body of the client. Through simple resonance, the practice helps reestablish the necessary balance for health. Therefore, the effectiveness of the healer is dependent upon their personal balance of give and take. As mentioned, everything functions on the principle of equal give and take. Through positive and negative electrical charges, our cell walls draw in what they need and push out what no longer serves. If a cell can only draw in but not release, it soon becomes toxic and can no longer function, resulting in illness. This gives the concept of a toxic relationship a whole new meaning. Conversely, if a cell releases more than it can draw in, it becomes depleted, lacking the nutrients needed for health and life. During lower frequency times and to this day, individuals tend to lean one way or the other, self-serving or in service to others. Balance was and is obtained by attracting the individuals of the opposite expression. Lately, we've heard much about the empath and the narcissist, the empath being the overgiver and the narcissist the constant taker. Many of us get stuck in one expression or the other and seek balance in our friends or partners. This results in relationships where one person does all the giving while the other drains them dry, truly believing it's their due. While they've worked in the past, now there are many problems developing in these counterbalancing relationships. Over time, the giver can become bitter, shut down their heart, and isolate themselves. Often the taker is never satisfied. They become hungry ghosts, starving amidst plenty. After a time of taking without releasing or giving, the system goes into overload and becomes jammed, resulting in an inability to receive. At the same time, the person demands more and more to fill the emptiness developing inside, to no avail. Individuals from both extremes end up empty and depleted. There are many reasons people fall prey to one imbalance or another. Some children are brought up to believe that they can do no wrong. No one's feelings matter but their own, and the world and everyone in it is here for the sole purpose of serving them. Others, often those that grew up with a self-absorbed parent, have been taught that it's their job to make everything all right for those around them. If anything goes wrong, it's somehow their fault. They must fix it or be judged against and cast out. In actuality, no one is totally self-absorbed or selfless. Our expression is on a scale running from one extreme to another, and we are somewhat mobile on that scale. Some bounce from one extreme to another, giving until they're totally depleted and then shutting down their heart to the suffering of others and totally focusing on their own needs. This approach is equally imbalanced and can be confusing, if not damaging, to those around them. By maintaining one balanced stance or another, we find the dysfunction playing out in our world. For instance, the overgiving person who divorces one self-absorbed spouse only to draw in another and another, or the self-absorbed after ditching one partner once they are drained for not giving enough, create the same situation with the following partners. If you think about it, it's simple electromagnetics. Nature will balance itself. An extremely positive charge will always draw in an equally negative one to maintain balance. The only way to stop creating relationship failure reruns is to correct your internal balance. It's not so much karma as it is physics. Actually, karma and physics go hand in hand, but that's a topic for yet another episode. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, as the frequency rises, these exploitive, often abusive relationships are no longer serving. Indeed, they're becoming increasingly toxic and are no longer sustainable. The body of our Earth tribe is increasingly sick and imbalanced as a result. The rising ambient frequency supports balance and unity and is putting much pressure on things that are not balanced or unified. Before, a person may have consistently leaned one way or the other, either self-serving or service to other, and balance themselves by association with individuals that are the polar opposite. Now, internal balancing is being demanded of us if we have any hope of evolving with the times. Likewise, those who bounce from one extreme to another are also holding a state of imbalance regardless of which extreme they may be expressing in the moment. It's important to note that balancing give-take is not a static thing. To everything there is a season. My teacher would give gratitude for his food by saying a simple prayer that has always stuck with me. Brother, sister elk, I thank you for your sacrifice that I may live. Someday I'll become as grass to feed your descendants, and the circle will be complete. Just so, there's a time to take and a time to give. The problems arise when we get stuck in one or the other, losing our ability to flow with life. So, how do we correct the imbalances that are drawing in undesirable relationships and preventing us from entering the circle of life? Be they personal relationships, business partnerships, or relationship to the earth itself, the principles are the same. Due to the low frequency and polarized times in which we've been living, we've come to believe that for someone to gain, they must take from someone or something else. In fact, if we come out of an either-or polarized mindset, there's always a third option whereby both or all parties win. Thus, an excellent starting point is to begin to base all our choices and actions on a win-win mindset. To do so, we first must come out of polarization, regardless of whether we're imbalanced givers or takers. Often, when faced with compromise, we feel we're bound to lose something we want. This fear tends to set us against any solution that doesn't match up with our perceived desires. These very perceived desires are often fear-based, created solutions to non-existent problems. If I give my employees a fair wage, it'll cut into my bottom line, and my family will have less money to buy what they need. When indeed, if one quits being stingy and pays good people what they deserve, the result will most likely be an increase in efficiency, productivity, and with it, the bottom line. As we embrace and employ the win-win mindset, balance will naturally result. This may seem simple. Naturally, it's not. While the concept is straightforward and indeed works, each of us carry damage and conditioning that prevents us from embracing it. When seeking a win-win solution, it's important to be sure both parties are winning. Sounds like a no-brainer. Yet, the self-serving will tend to overlook the other person in favor of themselves, and the one in service will often forget to include themselves in the win-win equation. Another factor one may face when employing the win-win principle is that some people in our lives will not welcome the change. Takers may be very invested in not giving due to their patterns. Givers may derive a sense of power by having us dependent upon their gifts. As with all change, sorting and discerning proximity to those unwilling to participate will be necessary. This is a process, but if you stick with it, you'll pull yourself closer and closer to the give-take balance point and out of polarization. Introspection and reevaluation of our beliefs, knee-jerk responses can go a long way towards uncovering and clearing personal blocks to win-win solutions. With deeper damage, those blocks can be hidden from us and require professional help to uncover. Either way, it's well worth the work to find balance and avoid recreating the same old undesirable results in our relationships and in our lives. So far, we've been discussing balancing our shields on a personal level. The process also needs to take place on a global level as we enter a higher frequency, resulting in the opportunity to become more conscious, unified, and evolved as a species. In the human body, each cell must maintain a balance of give and take for the organism to function. We are being called to become internally balanced cells in the organism of humankind. To the degree we can rebalance our ability to give and receive, we will be able to join the circle of life, whereby every interaction is ultimately based upon a win-win outcome. Thank you for joining me, Gwilda Wiyaka, on the Stairway to Heaven, where we provide updates on the energetic currents facilitating our evolution into conscious, powerful co-creators. As I'm sure you've noticed, not only do the Stairway to Heaven episodes stand alone, but they weave together to form a map to evolution and personal empowerment as we enter the new era. To revisit this or any of our past episodes, visit our archives at www.stairwaytoheavenmedia.com. If you'd like to find out more about me, my school, and the evolutionary tools we offer, visit www.findyourpathhome.com. Until next time, may you be blessed on your sacred path to wholeness. We are here. The time is now.